Is it working?
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
There's 21 people here.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Oh my goodness. Okay. Let me turn the lights back on, everybody. Oh my gosh. This is crazy. Oh, I'm telling you. Hold on. Oh, if at first you don't succeed, try again. All right, ladies and gentlemen, don't give up. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. Hold on here. Hold on. Let me just adjust the lighting. All right. I'm going to really need your help. I'm going to really need your help. That was crazy. In case you're just tuning in, I just spent the last 20 minutes attempting to get this live stream going. It's just insane, like the back end and the technical difficulties that can arise with live streaming. And listen, a lot of times people that live stream on YouTube, they do... they have a producer, there's, a couple people on the technical side of things, so it's just me. It's a one pony show out here in the studio shed. So, oh my goodness. So, if you left, please come back. Come back. And if you're here, since we had a little bit of a downturn there, could you share this video? Could you share this video on Twitter, on Facebook, wherever you want? Go email it, text it out to your friends, your running buddies especially, and let's get this baby going. Spread the word. Mike sounds great. That is awesome to hear, Zach. And thank you so much. Thank you, Jesse. Blue Collar Runner. Thank you, Jesse. Robert, butter my bread. That's right. Oh my goodness, I can't believe it. It's a Christmas miracle. It's a Christmas miracle. Okay, let me just take a quick drink here. And again, if you could spread the word, let your buddies know. Let me just adjust the lighting here a little bit, and we will dive in. So I put a lot of time into setting up all of this over here and just figuring it out. Okay, we got the lights going, feeling good, butter my bread. And again, if you could share this link with everybody, all your running buddies, that would be amazing. Okay, let me pull up my show notes. This is just it's a miracle. It's a miracle, and I love it. And thank you so much for all the comments coming in. All right. First of all, I'd like to ask, and again, thank you for your patience. That's awesome. Louise is watching. It's 3 a.m. Oh my goodness, that's amazing. Thank you for watching at 3 a.m. Basically, yeah, little technical difficulty, but we're here now. If everyone could comment in the chat box, where are you from? That's I'd like to start there. That would be awesome. Let everybody know where you're from, and we can get the conversation going with that. Again, sharing the link would be a huge help, especially since we had that issue, but we're up and running now. Holy smokes. And for everybody watching the replay, you're going to really wonder what happened, but it just got a little crazy. So, again, don't forget the Super Chats. If you'd really like me to see your messages or your questions, I will look for the Super Chat. And tonight, I want to talk about injuries, and I'll show you this board here in a second. I want to talk about the University of Colorado and my time there. And then I'd like to, of course, open it up to a Q&A and answer your questions as best as possible. Whatever questions you have about injuries, about running, training, shoes, life in general, all of that good stuff. So, sound good? Okay, let me just get to the bottom of this chat box. Texas, Colorado Springs, Nick, Julio, Texas, Zach, suburbs of Chicago. Shout out to Chi-Town, Mexico City. Oh my goodness, Manitoba, Chris, awesome. Skylar from 2 miles from the Boston Marathon finish line. That's amazing. From Malaysia, welcome from Malaysia. South Australia, that's awesome. Oh my goodness, we're literally global here. We are global. And again, if you could grab that link, spread it around to your running groups, that'd be cool. Canada, Brooklyn, love it. Brooklyn, Texas, a lot of Texas, nice. Charlotte, St. Paul, Philly, Georgia. Oh my goodness, that's amazing. Okay, so first of all, I'd like to pull this shoe off the rack here. the big red monster, the Salomon Speedcross 5, also aka the Big Bad Wolf. Did everyone see, and if you could let me know in the chat, did everyone see today's vlog that I published today? I filmed it yesterday with this shoe, and I'm pretty excited about that vlog. I put a little extra time into filming. Hopefully you noticed that. That's right, the Big Red. This is a beast. It's a mountain shoe, and I had a lot of fun filming that vlog for you yesterday. So hopefully you enjoyed watching it. This shoe is just, I'm actually going to wear it tomorrow, most likely. So anyway, I'll put this guy over here. And actually, just a quick side note, I wore this shoe yesterday, and I wore this New Balance Beacon, this New Balance Beacon today. And so just the difference in shoes, and it's just amazing the different types of running shoes that are out there. So anyway, it's just fun. It's fun. Okay, let me set these aside real quick, and we will dive in. Hold on one second. Okay, got to find some space here. The filming was amazing. Thank you, John. I appreciate that. All right, injuries. Let's dive into injuries. Oh my goodness. Where to begin? I'm actually going to pull this off here. So tonight, again, I want to talk about injuries, the CU buffs, and then open Q&A, and I'll do my best to monitor the chat as best as possible. Basically, as runners, the healthier we can remain, the better. A lot of time, because, why is that? Because aerobic development takes a long time. It takes years and years to build up our aerobic base, as it's called. And the more we're injured, the more that cuts into building up our aerobic base. And I've heard many coaches that are at the highest level, coaching Olympians, including my cross-country coach at the University of Colorado, Mark Wetmore, has often talked about how we basically, if we are injured regularly, that is cutting into precious opportunities to build our aerobic base. And unfortunately, I have had my fair share of injuries. So I'm actually just going to run down my injury history throughout my entire life real briefly. And then in the chat box, I want to hear about your injuries as well. And I guess I should also just mention again, the super chat. I forget if I mentioned that already. If you want me to definitely see a message, you can do super chats. And so anyway, that's awesome. Okay, here we go. So I've had plantar fasciitis 4 times, plantar fasciitis 4 times in my life. I've had an IT band issue once in my life. IT band, that's a knee injury on the outside of your knee. I've had 10 stress fractures. 10 stress fractures. I know that's a little insane. I'll talk more about that in a minute. I've rolled my ankle 4 times really seriously, almost to the point of it felt like I broke the ankle, but not quite. So really serious rolled ankles 4 times in my life. And then I've only had shin splints once, and I'm actually kind of grateful that I know, Jason, I know, it's crazy. I've only had shin splints once, when I'm very grateful for that. But I'm actually kind of glad that I did have them, and it was when I was 32, so just 1 year ago. And the reason I'm grateful is because a lot of runners have communicated to me that I get shin splints and it's really painful, and I never really knew what they were talking about. So anyway, that is my entire injury history right there. I'm glad it fits on one little tiny whiteboard and it's not longer. For example, I've never had a hamstring issue. I've never had a hip issue. But probably the 2 big ones that I've struggled with in my life are plantar fasciitis and stress fractures. All right, let me set this down real quick. Hold on one second. So I want to jump over to the chat box and start sharing a little bit about some of your injuries that you've struggled with in your life, and I'll do my best to answer your questions and get those questions coming in, whether it's about my injury history, your injury history, and I'll just do my best. And of course, I have to mention, I am not a doctor. Of course, I'm not a doctor, but what have you struggled with? Let's see here. Okay, Nick had double stress fractures in my feet. Yes, Nick, that was, yeah, that's no fun. No fun. I had a stress fracture on my middle metatarsal in high school, Nick. So let me know, Nick, where your stress fractures were at in your feet. Your hamstring is the story of your life in the last 5 weeks. Oh, I'm sorry. Justin, yes, True Love and I should do a 5K together. Okay, so Matthew is dealing with posterior tibial dysfunction. Strength training has aided in recovery. Amen, Matthew. I would completely agree. Like, it's amazing how much strength training can help, and doing it in the right way, as you know, Matthew. Okay, Jason, stress fracture caused by too much speed work. Hold on, let me just turn this off real quick here. Oh, I cannot reach it. Hold on. Something's going on over there. I can't turn off the speaker. Okay, so hopefully we'll get that fixed in a second. My left hip is sore. Sorry, Jesse. Let's see. Yes, Brent, welcome. Okay, I'm just trying to read through here. I had a weak hips and imbalance. Sorry about that, Zolly. So ask, and feel free to ask questions. Let's see. So Sloan says, IT band currently. Oh, sorry, Sloan. Haven't run. Could you turn that speaker off? Oh, thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that. That's good. Okay, and then trying to not freak out and take it easy. Any suggestions? Gym, strength training. Sloan, yeah, so I think Sloan, foam rolling for the IT band is really, really good. Take it easy at first. So if you can get a foam roller, and you can look up foam rollers on Amazon or anywhere, really, like any, Dick's Sporting Goods, but it's basically like a piece of foam and rolling from your hip down to your knee, and just really stretching out that IT band. That will help. So, okay, let's see here. I'm just reading here. I'm sorry if I'm missing some of your chats. I'll do my best. True Love in the shed. That's right, Daniel. I might have to ask her to come back in a minute to get me water, but we'll see. Exercises for hip flexor strengthening. That's from Dev. Gosh, I wish I could show you, but basically balancing on one foot, and then raising your knee up pretty high and keeping your shoulders back, and just balancing and holding your hip nice and steady, and then rotating your knee. And I wish you could see me. We need a couple cameras in here. You basically rotate your knee to a 90-degree angle off to the right, if it's your right leg, and then off to the left for your left leg, and that will help strengthen your hips. So hopefully that helps. Any big tips for not getting injured during the off season? Well, Zach, I guess it probably depends on, you don't want to slip on ice if it's the winter time. And Zach, maybe share a little bit more. Oh, can I get a little water? Thank you. True Love with the win. True Love with the win, bringing water. So, Zach, maybe you could share a little bit more about your experience there. Okay, let's see here. Noah, did I run in high school? Yes, I did. Okay, and again, I'm just scanning through the chat here. Have you dealt with piriformis issues? I actually have never heard of that, blue collar runner. Mainly getting pain down right hamstring. Piriformis issues. Gosh, and if that's connected to the hamstring, then no, I have not. I've been fortunate in that way that I've never had a hamstring issue. But sorry, I don't know more details on that. Okay, let's see here. Seth doesn't have an off season. That is usually true, although I did take 2 weeks off in December. That was my off season for the year. Any tips on knee pain or runner's knee? So, and again, 83 watching. And again, for everybody that's just joining us, we were a little delayed in starting, actually really delayed. I basically had given up, and then I went inside, kind of had a pity party with True Love, and then I came back out, and I was like, maybe I'll just try this. And sure enough, it's working. So welcome everybody. We started a little late, about 7:20, so you didn't miss too much if you're just joining. Thank you for spreading the words, sharing this link with your running buddies. That's awesome. Okay, so here we go. What's your favorite place you've ever trained? Noah, we'll come back to that in a little bit. Let's focus a little bit on the injuries right now. Let's see. Piriformis syndrome, so-called runner's pain in the butt. Oh, interesting. So it sounds like maybe it's upper hamstring. Okay, here we go. What's up, Seth? John, thanks for being here. Putting the kids to bed, can watch you while I'm doing that here. That's awesome. Okay, I think I missed a couple comments up here, and keep them coming. Reverse bridges work the hip flexors too. Yes, Jason, I totally agree. Love that. Love that. That core work, really. Okay, here we are. Running on that ice has been rough. I came so close to wiping out earlier today, Zach. Yeah, so, okay, I'm going to dive a little bit more into my 10 stress fractures. All right, well, okay, first, the plantar fasciitis. I've had plantar fasciitis 4 times in my life. Once in middle school, once in middle school, once in college, twice after college. Plantar fasciitis is a very common injury among runners. And for those of you that don't know, I opted in my right foot to go have surgery in California. I was in college. I was desperate to compete, and time is precious as a collegiate athlete. You only have a short window to be able to compete. And so I basically was dealing with plantar fasciitis it was like basically 15 months, and by 18 months I said, okay, coach, let's do it. Let's go get surgery. And we had tried everything. And actually the most painful moment of my life was when I had I guess I'll call it a cortisone shot. I don't know if that's exactly what it was, but basically a shot into the bottom of my heel. It was still, to this day, still the most painful thing I've ever been through. Sorry for the description, but okay, so that's my plantar fasciitis lineup. And if you've been watching the vlog over the past 3 to 4 months, you know that I've been dealing with PF as well, but I'm now over it. That's why I'm doing all these strengthening exercises in the vlogs right now to help make sure I don't get PF in the future. Stress fractures, and I realize I did not spell stress correctly, but stress fractures, yes, I've had 10 stress fractures in my life. The first one was in high school, and it was on my 3rd metatarsal on I think it was my left foot, and the metatarsal is the bone right on the top of your foot. And we thought it was a sprained toe, and it ended up being a stress fracture. So that was no fun. It healed up really quick, and that's the nice thing about stress fractures. But then moving on to college, I increased my mileage, increased the intensity of my workouts, and therefore had 9 stress fractures in college. And I'll talk more about that here in a little bit when we talk about the University of Colorado, but that obviously is not good. You don't want that. And there was a lot of my teammates, like we all had, well, not all, but many of us had stress fractures. I'm not saying it's, I'm not saying every collegiate athlete or runner or program has a lot of stress fractures, but it can happen when you're running high volume and high intensity workouts. So we'll come back to that. But anyway, that's a little bit of rundown of my injuries as far as the PF and the stress fractures. Okay, coming back to the chat box. How long does it take to recover from a stress fracture? 6 to 8 weeks. About 6 to 8 weeks on the fast end. I've seen some athletes come back after 4 to 5 if you really take care of it. And I know, they're also called hot spots, where it's not quite a stress fracture, but it can feel like it. So it's a little bit of it can be a little bit precarious at times. Okay, let's see what else. Is it different running in the cold or hot weather? Let's see. Which one is very painful? Dadzilla asked that. Let's see. Well, I would say, what one was the most painful? Believe it or not, I would say the plantar fasciitis is more painful than a stress fracture. I know that might sound strange. Does any particular shoe help with your PF? Oh my goodness, Kevin. That's a good question. I mean, believe it or not, I found that actually the New Balance Beacons made my PF feel really nice. Okay, where's it at? This guy. The New Balance Beacon helped me get over the PF. It basically allowed me to keep running. And I don't believe in taking time off if you have PF. Now, listen to your doctor. Don't listen to me. But I have not had success taking time off with plantar fasciitis and then coming back. So let's see here. I'm just scanning here. Let's see, Baby Blues, that's right. Seth, have you found the Two Old Guys Physical Therapist channel? I have actually, I think I have. They have some really good stretches for PF. Jason, that's a good shout out to that channel. I think they're based in Minnesota, if it's the same one. Yes, thank you for that. And just thank you for being here. Let me get a drink of water real quick. Sometimes I can get rolling and I forget to just check in and see how everyone's doing. I hope you're having a great week. And I was a little thrown off by those technical difficulties at the beginning, but I'm just grateful that as far as I can see, about 84 people are here watching, and it's incredible. Okay. Any other questions or thoughts on injuries? And we could talk, of course, all night about injuries. There's just so many that we can get. I feel fortunate that I haven't had, oh man, some really bad ones, like a stress fracture to the navicular bone, which is your heel bone. I believe it's called that. And that can be, that usually ends your running career, just so you know. I know one runner for sure that his career was ended with a stress fracture to his navicular bone, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. So anyway, we got to be careful as runners. We got to take care of our bodies. Okay. Stability versus neutral shoes for plantar fasciitis. I'm more neutral. I tried stability. It didn't work. It was a little too stiff. I think with plantar, the key is massage, stretch, icing and heat, especially icing right after a run. But the key is depending on what level of PF you're dealing with, but it's breaking up that scar tissue that's in there. And I think that the more stable or stiff that the shoe is, the more it's going to make the fascia tendon in the bottom of your foot, if I can use this terminology, basically seize up or not be nimble or flexible enough. It's not going to stretch that fascia tendon enough. Now it's a balancing act, because you don't want to stretch the tendon too much or else it will actually start to pull away from your heel bone, but you do want to loosen it up. So anyway, that's a good question. Thank you for that question. Have you ever used insoles to help your PF? Noah, I tried insoles. They didn't work. Joseph just got a thumbs up. Great week. Yes, that's right. How often are you doing something on your training plan? I don't know, Jacob. Maybe ask that again. I have a foot log now. Yeah, Jason, that's what I'm talking about. Do you use orthotics? I do not, Robert. How did you get over your shin splints? From Joey. Oh, more massage, more ice. Actually, you know what? With that, Joey, I think it was a lot of ice, a little bit. I'm not afraid to take a little bit of ibuprofen, of course. Listen to your doctor. Don't listen to me. But that worked for me. Massage, ice, ibuprofen, and then basically these walking like a duck exercises that will show up in tomorrow's vlog, Joey. So watch tomorrow's vlog, because I did them in my living room today, where you're basically stretching out the tendons and the muscles that are right next to your shin, and it's really hard to stretch them, but you can do it with these kind of walk like a duck exercises. All right, good question, Joey. Daniel, when my doctor found out I wanted to run 50 miles, and he said I might do long-term orthopedic damage. Have you considered the long-term impact orthopedically? Daniel, you know, I have a little bit. You know, I often wonder, like, when will my knees go? And you're talking more about your feet, but I've often wondered about my knees, like where will my knees be when I'm 50 or 55 or 60? I know a lot of runners have to transition to biking when they get past like 45 to 50. I don't want to do that. I'm not a big fan of biking or swimming, frankly. I just love running like you, I'm sure. So that's a good question. And then my feet, oh boy. I mean, gosh, I'll just keep wearing my Hoka recovery sandals when I'm 70 and walking around with a cane. Okay, let's see. Let's see here. Just scanning here. Okay, I think we're good. Luis, I did not wear insoles with the beacons. Good question. All right, let's move on if that's okay. Let's move on. Yes, that is a good one. All right, let's move. Let me just take a quick drink. Okay, Robert, that's good. All right, so if we may, let's move on to the University of Colorado. And again, I'll definitely hit super chats if you want to do that. But I want to talk first, or I want to talk now about running with the Buffaloes, the University of Colorado. I know there's quite a few high schoolers that watch these vlogs, and I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Basically, I was in high school. I was more interested in the NBA and the NFL, and I frankly was not a huge running fan. And back then, listen to this, back then from 2000, so I was in high school as a freshman in 2000, and then I graduated in 2004. It's amazing that, you know, it's that long ago now, but Facebook did not exist. Instagram did not exist. Social media did not exist. FlowTrack did not exist. Very, very basic websites existed, but it was like communication was a lot more simplified. So the now hold on. Sorry about that. Got a frog in my throat. So knowing what other high schoolers were racing and running like times across the country and around the world, that information was not as readily available. And therefore, I frankly did not, I knew about, you know, running in the Olympics. I knew about that, but I really did not know about running in college. Like, I had heard a little bit about Arkansas, you know, they were the powerhouse in the 90s, but I didn't really know about, you know, and I'm from Colorado, but the University of Colorado or Wisconsin or Oregon or Stanford or Iona or all these big universities. Like, I was just out of the loop. I was more interested in snowboarding and, you know, professional baseball, and like, I just wasn't that into running. So, hold on. So, basically, my senior year, I was about to graduate, and a friend gave me this book, Running with the Buffaloes, and probably some of you have read this book. And if you have, let me know in the chat. It's a great book, simple read, easy read, and it basically chronicles the story of I think the 1996 Running with the Buffaloes team. And I read this book, and I read about the time trial that basically any freshman at the University of Colorado, actually anyone, freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, can try to walk on to this cross-country and track team. And so that's what I did. My freshman year, I tried out, did not make it, and then trained for a year on my own in Boulder. Just doing, I think I bumped my mileage up from about 45 to 50 miles up to 65 to 70. And I really did not know what I was doing, but I just was running quite a bit on my own. And sure enough, a year later, in August, I came back to Boulder and I ran the time trial, and it was an 8K. I don't remember the exact time, and granted, it was at altitude. I want to say it was about 27 flat. Right around there. So a good time. And basically, I walked on. And every year, so the head coach, many of you know him, Mark Wetmore, he's coached many Olympians. He's won, countless national titles for individuals and for teams. He's just he's a legend. I would put him, you know how you talk about the Mount Rushmore of long distance coaches? I would put him on Mount Rushmore for long distance coaches in the entire world. Like, he's got that much clout and, frankly, award accolades to his name. And so anyway, he gave me a shot. And every year he allows one lady and one guy to walk onto the team, and I got the spot in 2005. So anyway, that's a little bit of the background for me walking on to the University of Colorado, and I just wanted to share that with you. Let's see, and I'm just scanning the chat here. So I would love to hear any questions you have about what the process was like for walking on to the CU cross country team and track team, but also opening it up a little bit to competing at the, Division I cross country and track level. So any questions that you might have, I am game. And yes, this is where I had a lot of injuries. We can talk more about that. But anyway, this is a special in Noah. So that's a good question, Noah. Did I get scholarship money? Noah, believe it or not, I did not for 3 years, but I did my last year. I was able to work my way into a little bit of scholarship money, so it was a pretty big deal for a walk-on to end up getting a little bit of scholarship money. Good question, Noah. Did you cross-train in college? Good question. Zali, we did not do too much cross-training, but of course we did cross-training when we were injured. So when I had my stress fractures, I did a lot of swimming, and that's probably why I don't enjoy swimming now. So good question. Probably could have incorporated a little bit more cross-training. And we did go into the weight room twice a week for strength training, so that was great. But yeah, oh my goodness, you live and learn, right? You live and learn. Okay, I'm scanning here. They're rolling in now. How many runners do they take on the traveling squad? Good question, Robert. So we would bring usually, I think it was 11 men, 11 ladies. And then so like 7 could race, and then they would usually have like a JV race or like a JV race. So 7 would race, 5 score, and then you have 2 for tiebreakers. So good question, Robert. But usually like 20 or 22 of us would get on an airplane and fly across the country to go race a cross country race. And this was back in the Big 12. Anybody remember the Big 12 out there? Okay, so let's see. What did you think was key to your improvement? Certain level of mileage, specific workouts? I would say that mileage was big. My body reacts really well to mileage, and I love running. Like, it's just, I can get in shape pretty quickly. Yeah, I would say mileage, but you got to be careful. I will say that much. But yeah, because in high school, I was right in the 30 to 40 mile a week range, which is pretty low for a lot of high school programs these days. I'm a pretty big advocate of high school runners not running much more than 50 to 60. I think that's pushing the boundaries a little too much. But once I got to college and I was able to bump it up to about 70, boom, that was money. That was really, really good. And by the way, yeah, the Big 12, hook 'em. Uh-oh, no, Will, no, don't hook 'em. Daniel, did you run? Asked, did I run track? Yes, I did, Daniel. I did the 10K, the 5K. I even did some 1,500 meter races to work on speed. So good question, Daniel. Actually, Daniel, I was able and blessed to run at Hayward Field, where Steve Prefontaine ran, where all of these legends have run, and my fastest 5K was at that track of 14:46. And I believe if I would not have had 9 stress fractures in college, that I would have, I like to believe that I would have been able to break 14 minutes in the 5K. Like that was my dream, but I never quite was able to race enough at that 5K distance. Jason, how many miles a week were you running? Jason, good question. I was running 60 to 70 miles a week when I walked on. By the time I was graduating, we were upwards of 100 miles a week. So no joke, no joke mileage. It was the real deal. Okay, so Robert asks, did Colorado still run Camp Casey invite in Washington State? No, we did not. We did not, Robert, but I have heard of that. Who were the top runners at Colorado at the time? Brent Vaughn, Stephen Pfeiffer, Billy Nelson. Billy Nelson went on to run in the Olympics. Yes, he was my teammate. He ran in the Olympics in the steeplechase. Who else would be a stud? I mean, some younger guys like Andy Wacker, Christian Thompson, Matt Tebow, Chris Pannone. Oh my goodness, the list goes on. And I even ran with like Brett Schoolmeister, some old school guys. I did not run with Dathan Ritzenhein. He went pro the next year I walked on. He had just gone pro in 2004. Okay. Yes, and Nelson is the assistant coach. That's right. All right, I'm just scanning here. Yes, big miles, Jason. What'd you run to walk on there? Brad, I think it was around 27 minutes, but it was at altitude on a hilly course. So, it's a pretty good time, but I'll have to go back and look. I think it was right about 27 minutes for an 8K. As running seems a more solitary sport, how is the camaraderie between you and your teammates? That's from Jason. Jason, it's like going to battle, baby. It's like going to battle with your brothers. I mean, oh man, you're literally, you see these people that become your best friends every day for, 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, because you arrive at the training room at 2 to get taped up, an ice bath, stretching, the run, post-workout stretching, and then going to the gym, and then you're leaving, like, you just see your teammates all the time, you traveling, the camaraderie is just it's just incredible. It's absolutely incredible. And doing like 20-mile long runs on a Sunday morning when all the other college students are, still sleeping off their Saturday night activities. We're waking up we met every Sunday morning at 8 a.m. to go run basically 20 miles every Sunday. So yeah, it was the real deal. Brent, thank you for that comment. Yes, it was awesome. Robert, what was your resting pulse rate when you PR'd in the 5K? I don't know. And I'm not a heart rate trainer, Robert, but that's a good question. Simon asks, is hill work speed work? And I would say to a certain extent, yes. Frank Shorter is famous for saying that hill work is speed work in disguise, and I actually think it is. And I think it's also disguised strength training, really, really great strength training. Okay, let's see. Skylar asked, how much of your training was done as a team and how much did you need to keep up on independently? Great question, Skylar. So I would do doubles. So you run twice. So Tuesday, Fridays, I would do a morning run and then I'd go to class all day and then do an evening run with the team. So twice a week, I would run alone. And then on Saturdays, so the NCAA requires that once a week, 1 day a week, you're not allowed to see the coach or the team. Actually, you can see the team, you just can't see the coach. And so yeah, I basically do 3 runs a week solo and then 6 runs a week with the team. Good question, Skylar. Ben, how much of your training week is speed focused? I watched some of your vids and you say time trials with no speed training. Does high weekly volume transfer to speed later down the road? Ben, I'll come back to that, but my short answer is that I love volume and then sharpening right before a race. So like 3 to 4 weeks before a race, I'll start adding speed work, but I prefer a big base of aerobic base. Okay, keep these questions coming. I love it. And now, so before we move on, any other questions about running with the Buffaloes? And I want to really watch the chat. Who has read this book? I'm just going to watch right now. Who has read this book? I would love to know. Like, somebody out there must have read this book. I'm curious to hear what you think of this book. It says on the front here, a season inside with Mark Wetmore, Adam Goucher, and the University of Colorado men's cross-country team. Okay, you have read the book. That's good. That's good. Ah, nice. Nice, Kurt. Kurt has read the book. That's what I like to hear. Awesome. I'm glad. Thank you, Kurt. Let's see. Who else? And so, let's see here. It's on the bookshelf. Probably going to be my next read. That's awesome, Scott. Basically, Gouch was always injured. He was always injured, especially after college. He had a lot of injuries after college. He had a lot of injuries. Adam Goucher, for those that don't know, he was an Olympian, but he was tough as nails, man. You can't deny him that. Joseph, did you ever get lost, or did your Buffaloes ever win? Yes, we were. I don't know if that's Joseph James watching True Love. So we were NCAA champions twice while I was there. So meaning we won the cross country national championship twice. So that's pretty special. In fact, I shot a DVD. So one of the first year I was not in the top 7, and so I actually filmed the race, and I'm going to show you guys that footage at some point of the guys winning the NCAA championship. Like we beat Wisconsin down to the wire. Chris Solinsky, sorry to throw him under the bus, but he bonked the last 1K of a 10K race. And Solinsky, as you know, went on to run in the World Championships, and yeah, I think he made it to the Olympics in the 10K. Oh gosh, but anyway, we were the champions. It was amazing. Okay, so any other thoughts on the CU Buffs? If not, we're going to move on to talking about the open Q&A and answering any and all questions. And of course, I have the faithful red box here, the faithful red box with questions here. So let's see. Let me just pull out here. When is your first race of 2019? That is from Daniel, and you can always email me your questions or send them to me on Instagram, and I will put them in this box, and then the next week's live stream I'll do my best to answer. So from Daniel, when is your first race of 2019? Daniel, I am so glad you asked that question, because guess what? It is not the Cleveland Marathon, although I am officially signed up for the Cleveland Marathon on May 19th. I'm very excited about that. My first race is March 6th, and it's called America's Uphill, and it's basically a 2.5-mile race up a ski resort, Aspen Mountain. So if you live near Aspen, Colorado, I will be racing America's Uphill. That's going to be my first race of 2019. I'm so excited, and yes, you better believe I'll be wearing the Big Bad Wolves for that race. So great question, Daniel. Thank you so much. Okay, let's jump into the chat here. Most anticipated shoe for this year. That's from Bryce. Oh boy, Bryce. Well, I am pretty excited, Bryce, about the Turbo 2, the Nike Pegasus 35 Turbo 2. What else? Let's see, I need to think a little bit here. There's so many. Oh gosh, I know I'm leaving one out. Of course, there's rumors of a new Vaporfly 4 5% coming out. I don't know if that's actually going to be happening. But anyway, Bryce, probably the Pegasus 35 Turbo 2 would be at the top of my list. Okay, let's see. Let's see here. Did your teammates drink in season? That's a good question. And I think when you say drink, you mean, have a beer or have, a drink of wine or whatever. And I would say no. Not that I knew of. Like, we were we were down to business. Like, no, and of course, like, you have 18-year-olds on the team, and then you have 22-year-olds. So some of the people were too young to drink, but no, during the season, it was business. It was definitely business. We did not drink during the season. Good question, though. Let's see here. And I'm just scanning here. Keep them coming. How do you plan your nutrition for long distance? That's from Madan. Let's see. So that's a good question, Madan. Obviously, it depends on how many aid stations. And I think when you ask that question, you're talking about probably ultra races. So I've done quite a few ultra races. You need to think about how often are the aid stations. I always like to wear, hold on. Sorry about that. I always like to wear a vest, and this vest, so for all of you that are new to the channel, I am a ultra runner that is coming back down in distance, and I'm going to be racing my first marathon this year. But I've actually been racing 50Ks, 50 milers in the last 3 years, basically. And so this is a vest that I wear that can carry food. And Madan, I like chewies more than gels. I do like real food during a long race over gels. And I actually like Gatorade. Just to give you a few thoughts, I know there's like Tailwind. I need to do a little more testing with Tailwind, but I like Gatorade because it has like real calories in it. It's not kind of stripped down as much. Anyway, we could talk. Hopefully that answers your question a little bit, but this vest is from Ultimate Direction in case you're looking for a vest, and I love it. I love it. Okay, let's see here. Let's see, what is your favorite trail racing shoe? So that is from the Blue Collar Runner. Good question. I like the Salomon S-Lab Sense 6 SG for shorter races. Salomon S-Lab Sense 6 SG. And I am going to be getting the Sense 7 for the Pikes Peak Ascent. And so I'm going to be running the Pikes Peak Ascent in August. And it's a 13-mile race up a 14,000-foot mountain. And bottom line, like, I want to go as fast as possible, but I want that good grip. So anyway, that would probably be my favorite trail racing shoe at this point. Okay, let's see. And sorry if I'm missing some chats here. Yes, and that's a good point, Robert. I did check weather reports for Cleveland, and it can be rainy, it can be humid, and you know, and the other thing, Robert, and for everybody else, I was also looking at Grandma's Marathon in June, and you know, that could really be a little too warm, so I'm glad I did not go with Grandma's. Good question, Robert, but I did look into that. Angie, since you run mountains, would you consider climbing mountains? Angie, I don't think so. And I think you mean like those high altitude, crazy mountain climbs like, you know, Everest or something like that. I don't really have a desire to, you know, get ropes out and climbing shoes and backpacks. Like, it's just not quite my thing. So good question, Angie, but no, I don't think I would. But yeah, thank you for the question, Angie. Longtime viewer. What shoe should I race a marathon in? That's from Jason. Good question, Jason. Oh man, well, let's see. It depends, I guess, on how fast you want to go and how much you want to beat your legs up. Because listen, it's pavement. It's gonna, you know, you're gonna beat your legs up a little bit. I am looking at the Reebok Float Ride Run Fast Pro as an option. I'm looking at the, oh my goodness, the Saucony Fast Twitch 8. Believe it or not, some people have commented and said that that is their go-to marathon shoe. I don't know if there's quite enough cushion in that shoe. Of course, the easy answer is the Nike Vaporfly 4% Flyknit, which, you know, changed the running shoe game completely in 2018. So anyway, yeah, good question. There's a couple ideas for you. I've heard good things about the Adidas Adizero, or yeah, the Adidas Adizero Boston, I believe it's called. I've heard good things about that for a marathon option. Anyway, hopefully that gives you a few ideas. Oh my goodness. You could wear the Nike Pegasus 35 Turbo. You could run a good marathon in that shoe. I wouldn't say that's your fastest option, but you could run in that shoe. Okay. Run, travel, for adventure, for fun. Do you want to do UTMB, CCC, etc.? Yes, I do. But I want to make sure that I run one fast marathon while I still have some decent legs going. So basically, for those of you that don't know, UTMB is basically the biggest ultra race in the entire world. It's in Chamonix, France is where it starts, and it goes, I think, into Italy and even Switzerland, I believe, and then back into France. And it's just this epic race, and I would love to race that race. I need to focus a little bit on marathon running for now, but yes, good question. Let's see. Are you a coffee drinker? So you're probably new to the channel. You better believe it. I am. I need to tone down the coffee. Is a better way to answer that. Okay, I'm just scanning here. What's the craziest thing you have seen someone race in? I saw a guy racing a 1 mile in sandals. He also wore a cowboy hat. That's awesome, Robert. Craziest thing? Oh, man. Probably a Donald Duck suit. I don't know. No, Robert, that's a good question. Probably some, you know what it would be? Probably like Converse, those Converse sneakers, those, what are they called? The All-Stars or the Converse sneakers? Probably those, yeah. That would be that would probably be the craziest. I have not tried Run Gum, thank you. Running at Altitude asks, have you ever had a sponsor? I have not had a shoe sponsor. Actually, no, I've never had any sponsor, and I'm okay with that. I was interested in that from Salomon, actually. I had them on my radar. I actually have their shirt on right now. I was a little interested in Hoka, but if I was sponsored by someone, and I'm not living in the clouds, like I'd have to be a little faster to be really sponsored, but I wouldn't be able to review all of these shoes for you if I had, I couldn't talk about Nike shoes if I was sponsored by Salomon or if I was sponsored by New Balance. So anyway, good question. Let's see here. Yes, Jesse, CIM is on my radar. Good comment. How's the New York Marathon idea coming? That's from Daniel. Daniel, just so you know, I put my name in the lottery. So I think out of everybody that puts their name in the lottery, they choose 17% is the number. So who knows? I could get in through the lottery, but yes, I do have somebody who has a connection to the New York Roadrunners that is trying to get me in. But I haven't heard, and I probably won't hear. I don't know, maybe for another couple weeks. Good question, Daniel. Beholden to no one. You better believe it, true love. Okay. Never, don't give up coffee. I work for Dutch Brothers Coffee and drink a cold brew every day before my run. That's awesome, Johnny. Johnny, you are correct. You are correct. All right, keep these comments and questions coming. I love it. Oh, as the light turns off here, hold on. Okay, let's see. Jamie asks, this year I'm attempting to run 52 marathons in 52 weeks. What? I've completed marathon 3 today. Any top recovery tips between each marathon? Jamie, wow, that's amazing. Okay, Jamie, I would say that I love to get in the pool. Jamie, you may already do this, but I love getting in the pool, doing some aqua jogging, and just general movement in the pool, like stretching and even some plyometrics in the pool to help basically stretch out as much as possible with no pounding. So that would be one idea. I'm sure, Jamie, you have a foam roller. Definitely be rolling your legs out with a foam roller. What else would I be doing? I like Epsom salt baths. So I think, and I don't know the science, but the Epsom salt baths can help relax our muscles. So anyway, those are a couple ideas. Any others? If you can afford it, it wouldn't hurt to hire somebody to get a massage going. So that would be good. That would be good. But congrats, Jamie. That's amazing. That's amazing. Good job. All right, here we go. Oh my goodness, they're streaming in. Insanity NBA asks half marathon time goal. I mean, if I want to hit some serious, fast times, I mean, if I could run 108 to 109, that would be awesome. And I ran a 111 here at Altitude with, in a time trial with no competition. So I feel like at sea level, I can go quite a bit faster. Good question. Okay. Any interest in running a trail running series, example sky running series? Absolutely, absolutely. Just need to save up a little money to go to these races. But I would love to run the race in Scotland. Remind me what it's called. I think it's the Ring of Steel Sky Race, I believe it's called. So yeah, that would be great. Okay, here we go. I'm just scanning here. Ben asked, road racing compared to trail racing, what do you prefer and why? Oh man, so Ben, I've been doing mostly trail racing the last 4 years, and it's fun. It's a lot of fun. And it has a different feel because a lot of times you can end up running solo because the competition either pulls away or you pull away from them. Whereas in road racing, you more often, like, there's people around you to push you. So that would be one difference between trail racing and road racing. At this point, I probably prefer trail racing, but I'm excited to do a marathon on the roads this year. And obviously with trail racing, like, you're usually way out in nature, and so it's really beautiful. But that's not to say that, like, I would love to run in New York City and just look at the skyline as I'm racing. You know, I don't know. It's just, there's different ways to seek beauty, right? So those are a few, Ben. Anyway, yeah. Hopefully that answers your question. But thank you for that. Thank you for that. Let's see. Dun, dun. I was wondering whether to get the Pegasus 35 Turbo or the Zoomfly Flyknit. That's from Owen. And Owen, maybe some of you who own these two shoes could answer Owen's question. I have my opinion, but I'm curious. I'm going to keep going. I'm curious to hear what you guys think. So tag Owen in the chat and let him know what you think. And by the way, you guys are just crushing these questions. Keep them coming. Robert, benefits of jumping rope. I actually do enjoy doing that. And Robert, I would say making sure that your Achilles is stretched out, your Achilles tendon, working on, I mean, if you're interested in going fast, like that explosion, it's just like really, really good for that overall suppleness and strength for exploding forward in your stride. So I actually do, I do jump rope, not yet in my training, but I will in the gym here in about 2 weeks. Dominic asks, how often do you change out your running shoes? Great question, Dominic. Dominic, I think that every running shoe should strive to get at least 250 miles and preferably at least 400 miles. So I would say if your shoe is breaking down at 150 miles, I mean, I don't know, like, depending on the policy of the running shoe store where you bought it, I would consider taking it back. But anyway, I like to go about 250 to 300, and then I might just use the shoes that are over 300 miles for cross-training shoes and going to the gym shoes. Does that make sense? So you just, yeah, you'll know, like, you'll start to feel it in your body when the foam in the midsole is just shot and through the outsole. So good question. I think that was from Dominic. You guys, you just blowing my mind. Despite the technical difficulties here tonight, you all stuck with me and we're rocking it and it's blowing my mind, and I just appreciate you being here. Okay, Kaylee's vote, not a fan of Flyknit, so my vote is Pegasus 35 Turbo. Good, yeah, there you go, Kaylee, I like that. Okay. Rise Up Nutrition by Lindsay asks, how much time do you spend on stretching every day? Not enough. That's an easy answer. Not enough. No, I probably spend, and it changes every single day. Okay, it's probably around 10 minutes. I should be focused more on like the 15 to 20 minute range. Just, you know, life is busy. And, but I do feel like I'm doing better this year, Lindsay, just so you know, in strengthening my feet, basically, strengthening my lower legs so that I don't get plantar fasciitis. Like, I'm really trying to focus on that. And you've probably seen that in the vlogs, everybody. Okay, here we are. You guys are just getting me pumped. What do you think a competitive 5K high school time is? I started running 2 months ago and have run a 17:30 5K, and I was wondering what level do I need to get to be competitive? And that's from Lachlyn Barnes. That's a great time, 17:30. Congrats, especially after just 2 months. I think, and depends on, I think if you want to compete at state, if you're in the United States, I'm not sure, but state is the big meet. If you can get into the lower 16s, like 16 minutes to 16:30, you're going to be doing great. So that would be like a window to shoot for. And I don't know if you're a freshman, a senior, but 16 to 16:30 would be a great window to shoot for. Good question. Let's see. What's your favorite post-run or race meal? That's from Chris. Good question, Chris. Let's see. So for my favorite post-run or race meal, depends on the distance, but I do like a good burger and fries. Who doesn't like that? But if you're looking to be a little more cognizant of what you're putting into your body, listen, after a 50K, so 31 miles, like your body is, you just need to replenish as much as possible. Man, you're putting me on the spot here. Okay, like a good steak. Like, I just call it what it is. Like, just replenishing that iron. And in college, there was quite a few athletes who struggled with iron deficiency. And so anyway, I like iron, some veggies, some potatoes. Like, I know that's kind of a standard answer, but that would be probably, yeah, be my answer for you. Chris, good question there. Okay, let's see. What do you prefer to listen to when you run? That's from Dominic. Audiobooks or podcasts? Podcasts. I'm a pretty big podcast guy. I'd like to do audiobooks, but I don't know. I'm not always willing to shell out the money, if you know what I mean. Let's see here. Yes, Zach, like you can't beat steak. You can't beat steak. Okay, it's 8:24, and despite the delay, we've been going for almost an hour. This is amazing. And again, thanks for persevering tonight. If you want to watch the rerun, it'll be posted here in about an hour. In case you missed the beginning part of this live stream, we talked about injuries. As you can see here, we talked about the University of Colorado and running with the Buffaloes. And then in this last 20 minutes, we have been opening it up for an open Q&A. And thank you so much for all these questions that are coming in. And again, if I'm missing some of them, I apologize, but I will try to answer them maybe next week. You know what I mean? There's always next week. Okay, let's see here. Before we close it out, this is your chance, your last chance to ask questions, and keep them coming. Any question that comes in from right now moving forward, I will answer. Okay, what is your favorite Colorado trail race? Hope to make it out there next year. That's from the Blue Collar Runner. I really enjoyed the Under Armour 50K at Copper Mountain. It's sponsored by Under Armour. Just a really professional race, well put on. It's a 50K. And so, let me just see here. I'm scrolling up. So anyway, that'd be my short answer for you. There's also the Dirty 30 50K. And then a big one, is the Leadville 100. That would be another favorite one. And of course, the Pikes Peak Ascent. Okay, I better stop. Let's see here. Injuries, but what about running ill? I raced half ill and Q for Latvian U14. Sorry, I'm not quite following that question. Maybe ask that again. Okay, let's see here. Do you have a favorite running podcast? That's from Daniel. I'm really getting a kick right now, Daniel, off of the Coach Jay Johnson podcast. He was my assistant coach at the University of Colorado, and I've really been enjoying his podcast, really learning a lot about coaching. So that would probably be my go-to right now, Daniel. Let's see here. I'm just going through. How's the family? Family's great. We're doing well. Everyone's, True Love's still up, but I think the kids are asleep inside. Thank you for asking that. Music during a race, yay or nay? Nay. Nay on the unless, okay. if it's a 100-mile race and like you are just bonking and struggling, yeah, like I could see music, but overall, I think a good rule of thumb is to just try and be in the moment and focus as much as possible. Like for a half marathon, like the Pikes Peak Ascent, like no way, but maybe in a 100-miler, I can see that being an option. But anyway, that's just my opinion. That's my opinion. How many different shoes should an average runner have? Great question, Skylar. I get this question a lot. A racing shoe, 2 training shoes, and an easy day shoe. So I like to say 4 shoes. So the Beacon is my easy day shoe. And then a racer, depending on what type of race I'm doing. But, you know, I like the Salomon S-Lab Sense 6 for trail racing. But anyway, I like to think, and then I like 2 training shoes. So like the Pegasus 35 Turbo or, oh no, not that one. I don't like that one. But anyway, 2 trainers so that you can rotate them out. Sorry, that's a good question, Skylar. Let's see. Preferred time to run from Dominic again. I like to run in the morning, but I'm often passed out and asleep because I have to stay up late for editing these vlogs every single night. So I would say I would prefer the morning, but oftentimes it has to happen at lunchtime or pushed off to, I love running. I must say I love running in the evening times during the summer. Okay. Kaylee asked, what was your choice between Peg Turbo and Zoom? Yeah, Turbo. Kaylee, it's the Turbo for sure. Let's see. Addy Zero Sub 2 shoes. Yes, Steven. I haven't tried them, but I've heard great things. Okay, let's see. What was the biggest difference and hardest part of transitioning from high school to college? That's from Caden. Track workouts, Caden. I am not a speed guy, like really a speed guy. I could go crush a 20-miler with Billy Nelson, who went on to run in the Olympics, or with Brent Vaughn, who is, you know, a state champion here in Colorado, and I could crush, like, long runs do not scare me. Tempo runs do not scare me. But what scares me are track workouts, like, you know, 1,200 meter repeats on the track with future, you know, guys that are going on to the Olympics. So anyway, that was probably the toughest transition from a training standpoint. Okay, just making sure I'm not missing any. What shoes are you running in tomorrow? From Jamie. Jamie, you better believe it. You better believe it. The Big Bad Wolves. I'm going back to the snow tomorrow. Good question, Jamie. These are the Salomon Speedcross 5s. If you didn't see today's vlog that I published, you gotta go watch it. I talk all about this shoe. Okay, let's see. Just making sure. Family. Okay, Robert, I think I ate an apple, maybe a banana. I didn't have too much breakfast. Probably should have had more. It was delicious. Oh, and coffee. Okay, and going to the bottom. You're welcome, Caden. Good live stream tonight. Okay. Was eating buffalo burgers at Colorado considered cannibalism? Robert, yes it was. We didn't do that. Okay, I am signing off. Thank you for sticking with me. I appreciate it. Hopefully I got to most of your questions tonight. And this was fun. Despite the challenges at the beginning, this was fun. We do this every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Mountain Time, as long as there's no technical difficulties. And this would, like, spread the word. I guess that'll be my last request to all of you is spread the word to your running buddies, like if you're in high school, to your cross country and track teams. Let them know that we do this. We're talking about gear, we're talking about training, nutrition, collegiate running, and I don't know, I'm just grateful that this community is so strong and that you all are here. So I think that'll do it for now. And again, this will be published here in about 30 minutes on YouTube. Okay? All right. Seek beauty, work hard, and love each other. We'll see you guys tomorrow. All right? We'll see you guys tomorrow. I'll be publishing a vlog. You better believe it. All right. Love ya.